Pandemonium Shadow Poo!
Hello, welcome to the Bronze Age Monster Shadow Show. This is a companion show to our main show that we make every other week for our loyal patrons. We talk about a ton of stuff. Oh, you said, what is this, Matt? This is episode 116?
That's right.
Wow, we have talked about werewolf movies. We've talked about, oh my God, just a ton of stuff over the years. Scourge. More importantly, if you could remember two things, remember werewolf movies and remember the urge to scourge.
I miss the urge to scourge. That was fun.
Those were our hits. Those were the singles. But lots and lots of other stuff that we've talked about this season. We're kind of playing catch up a little bit, trying to talk about stuff that you and I have meant to for years now. And I think we've been pretty open about our love of romance comics, our love of Gothic romance. If you're watching this, then you can absolutely, if you have not checked out the very first episode we did of this season on the Atlas Seaboard Gothic Romances magazine, please go back and watch that. Matt did an amazing job researching, talking about Gothic romance, the pulps, everything. And so I feel like that is kind of where to go to get all the info and history on this genre. And yeah, so we're basically going to be talking about Sinister House, A Secret Love #4 from DC. It was a companion to another Gothic horror, Gothic romance book called The Forbidden... No, it was A Dark Mansion of Forbidden Love. It's easy to get confused because both of these turned into what the book that they ended up being after 4 issues. So these were big. These were 52 pagers. There were 4 issues of them. And then obviously what, funny enough, Wikipedia calls a mini boom of Gothic comic romance. And I was just like, is it a mini boom? Because you got those 2 titles. And then you have Haunted Love over at Charlton. And you had those for a couple months.
I can see why they tried this because
I can too.
As we talked about in the Atlas Seaboard Gothic Romances thing, it was obviously selling really well in paperback form in the late 60s and early 70s. Dark Shadows catapulted this whole subgenre into the fore. And it makes sense to be the publisher to be like, well, maybe comics too. I mean, there's TV, there's, soap opera, there's drama, there's paperback pulp books. So it makes sense they tried it. And yeah, it's a bummer because the teams they put together to do these are amazing and the stories are amazing. It's just, I always wonder with the stuff like this, Jacob, when it's 2 or 3 issues, like did they just not have the balls to stick in there and be willing to lose a little bit of money to pull a bigger audience? Or were they just smart enough to go, yep, cut it. It's done.
I don't know. I feel like it was a big swing to not just do, just 12-page stories. These are book-length fucking stories. And they're enormous and they're very cool and obviously cost a little bit of money. And I don't know, I can see him doing that because, the Gothic pulps and the Gothic, magazines, I mean, it's all, people are used to story and they're used to text and stuff. So I just don't think they knew what to make of, maybe if they would have stuck with it a little bit, but then I don't know. It just seemed to not really work for the audience.
So the norm, kind of what you and I picked up on from the episode we did was like this novel length story, which is actually like 35 pages of text. Mm-hmm. But I think people are kind of used to these longer form stories where they can kind of settle in. It's actually just a long short story. I think they were trying for that here, but the problem is someone at a typewriter can bang away a thing and you cut them a check for $50, 35 pages of Gothic romance prose. When you're paying a top shelf Filipino artist to do 32 pages of story, gets expensive pretty fast. So I can kind of see how they're kind of like, okay, we were hoping that the nursing students and whoever buy these goddamn things, we're going to cross over into this genre, this medium, and buy comics versions of it. And we're not seeing it immediately, and it's really expensive, so we're not doing it anymore. I can kind of see that.
I can see that. And there's not a ton of stuff online about the history of these, but 4 issues, that's if they're, bi-monthly, that's about when you're going to get serious sales figures.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it was just that. And it was a hard pivot. Because after this, it becomes Secrets of Sinister House and ends up having a host, Eve, after a while. And so they just turned it into another horror book.
But which they had plenty of, right? House of Mystery.
Yeah, they had a ton.
Unexpected, like all that stuff. Unexpected? Is that right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there was no shortage of these. It's just a bummer that it became a clone of their other stuff they had that was also brilliant. I love DC's 70s horror output. It's great. But this is such a cool little corner of the world. I just wish it could have sold enough to kick out another 8 issues, maybe. I would have been satisfied with 12. Because every time I flip through these, I am just gobsmacked at the art. You don't even have to read
the art's
them.
amazing.
So,
no, you really don't. I mean, DeZuniga does the art on 4 and 2. I think Toth does the art. You have writers like Lynn Wein, Frank Robbins. So it's a lot of fucking heavy hitters on these 4 issues, and they look great, and the story's great. Like this is quality stuff.
Yeah.
1 and 3 have seriously beautiful painted covers on them that could have come direct from a pulp.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Like even better than a pulp, honestly. Like I think both of those would have been killer covers.
So, unfortunately, there wasn't an appetite in Gothic Romance fans to read comic books, and there wasn't an appetite for comics fans to read Gothic Romance. So these were short-lived and just became horror anthologies. Our loss. That's why we can't have nice things.
Yeah. It's true, but also they followed the tropes to a T, to the letter on each of these. All the tropes that you had cataloged when we talked about the Atlas Seaboard Gothic Romances, like everything is here. It's all here, every single issue. And the one that we're talking about tonight, Kiss of the Serpent, and it is... the only crazy thing is that, wow, it's set in India.
Literally.
That's basically that's the only difference that makes it not as rote and trite as a Gothic romance as you could get. But because everything else is there. You got the twin.
Yep.
She's gonna teach the little kids in a strange place.
Yeah. The governess.
She's the governess.
Yeah. I know, it's Turn of the Screw. It's got everything. Like you're saying, it's a catch-all of tropes. But with the India twist. But we were saying on the last episode, the Charlton thing, some of those stories were by Golden Age heavy hitters, and they just felt like old time radio retreads. And we were saying there's a comfort to that. There's a comfort to being oh, they're doing blank. I know what this is now. Now we can just kind of lay back in the cut and just listen to the actor perform and not really focus, or I can wash my dishes, if radio dramas or whatever. There's a comfort to a known thing. And also there's an aspect of it's the singer, not the song, right? DeZuniga gets to go fucking bananas on this. And it's almost better where it's okay, I know what he's doing. They're doing Turn of the Screw, and they're doing this, and they're doing blah, blah, these 4 things all mushed into a thing. And there's a little bit of Dark Shadows, but it's in India again, like that, just the paprika or whatever on top of the whole thing, just to give it a little bit of different flavor. It's comforting because then you can just dive into the art and just really relish the art because you know the language, you know the song. Everyone knows this song.
Yeah, but man, the art on this issue, the 2 issues of this title that DeZuniga does are they're stellar. They're absolutely incredible. Yeah. Kiss of the Serpent is this one. It's plot by Mary, art by Tony, with dialogue by Mike Fleisher. So it seems like this is one that Tony and his first wife, Mary, basically just kind of dug their teeth in, figured out what they wanted to do, had all the plot beats, everything there. And then, it sounds just like Fleischer kind of came and actually did dialogue. I don't know if would he do narrate? I don't think he'd do narration. I think that's my feeling was that was probably Mary.
See, I didn't know. Was Mary was she born in the Philippines? Is she Filipino, or is she someone that he met when he came here and did art? 'Cause he was in New York, right?
That I'm not sure. No,
I was just
yes, she was in New York.
Because I was wondering that too, Jacob. Like when I was like, okay, he did the dialogue. Okay, maybe there's some localization stuff going on. If she's from the Philippines, I didn't know. But then I was like, well, wait a minute. This narration is perfectly sophisticated. So if English is her second language, as opposed to Tagalog or whatever, or Spanish, then she's doing a great job of the narration. So why is Fleischer in here? So I was wondering that same thing. Like who did what?
Yeah, I wish there was more info on that, but yeah, we have to speculate.
Yeah, because at this type of situation, I would normally expect it to be like she wrote out a treatment, a very meaty, long treatment with all the beats, and then someone came in, like the way Stan would do it, Spider-Man does this, and then that's and then Dick goes like, all right, so I got to write the words down or whatever, I would expect that, but I don't know what the relationship was. I'd love to know. But let's dive in.
Yeah, let's dive in. So, right at the opening, you just see like Kiss of the Serpent. We got our title, and we're instantly introduced to Michelle, right? Yeah, Michelle Williams.
Michelle, I swear to God, her name is like a mix of it's Harlan Ellison put together. It's like Harlanson.
It is, right? That's why Harlan's. Okay, yes, I know. It was difficult for me to kind of remember that, but. Yeah, it starts off with her kind of, you're dropped in just in media res in the front. She's just like, oh, she's in India. And she's like, oh, why did I ever agree to come here? And then it's like, oh, yeah. And second page, it's great flashback. I love that panel on that second page of her, just like her in profile, and everything else just kind of washes to the flashback. Where, again, the tropes are just starting right now. Mother and father died in a horrible car crash. You have the uncle flying in from Bombay to help out, and helping out is basically him being like, "You're coming with me," and she's like, "Well, I have a job. Like I have a job, and I have this is my home." And he's like, "No, you're coming with me," and she's like, "I have no friends there," and she's like, "I have friends there." They'll get you a job, perhaps not teaching, but an interesting job. Change will do good for you. So he just comes right in, swoops in while she's obviously like, totally beside herself with grief. And he's just like, nah, you're coming with me. I love like on this next page, like the way she's like the little weird cap where she's like a airline stewardess or something like that. That's wild, but there's so many just like standout panels where, irrespective of the context of the story, like that woman in the foreground of that panel with all the jewels and the finery of like Indian stuff, like each panel here can stand alone on its own and just be fucking stunning. Mm-hmm.
So we have, like you said, there's we'll try and not belabor this too much, folks, because we'll focus on art. Because the story is very rote, but so we have the whole trope trick, like Jacob said, dead parents, mysterious uncle comes in and takes you to a foreign land, a place you don't know. Those check. She gets a gig, she starts working a job, and then they find out that the Bombay office of this business is shutting down, so people need to find their own jobs and whatever if they're going to stick around Bombay, otherwise they can go back home. She's being followed by a mysterious man. That's another trope that comes up a lot. She's, you can hear like the whole like high heels versus the dress shoes following her in a corridor, the echoing, reverberating footsteps. And when he approaches her, he gives her a letter of introduction, and it's her uncle basically saying like, "Go meet this guy. You should meet him. I vouch for him. He's a good guy." And then DeZuniga gets to go nuts with some architectural stuff, Indian architecture, when she goes to this guy's place. Man.
Oh my God, yeah, from just the opening gates and the palace, and then you go inside and there's all this statuary and enormous stuff. Like, yeah, this place just looks fucking huge. It says that, he reads, we passed through incensed hallways paved with ancient tile. And so, her handler here is like, our journey's at an end. My master awaits you in his study. Good day to you. And then, we go to chapter 2. Chapter 2 is The Curse. And we're introduced to Rabin Singh.
Handsome man.
Very handsome man.
Yeah. And so we find out why she has been summoned to his house. His brother died, and he left behind 2 children, and he really wants a governess. This is the turn of the screw. Literally the turn of the screw, the part of the turn of the screw. So he's thinking, I don't know why he knew of her because of her uncle. And so he's recommended for the job. She meets the kids. They're adorable. And they take off, and she's like, wow, this is a lot to think about. Because he wants her to decide like right then, I think. And she's like, can I talk to you tomorrow morning? And he's like, all right, fine. Think it over, And then she goes home, and then she meets a guy. And this is it's kind of the trope of, like, in horror movies, this is the weird dude at the gas station who's like, don't go up there, you kids go up there, you ain't coming down again. This woods is haunted, But
yeah, this guy's just a little more racist.
Very racist. He's Dr. Graves, which I couldn't tell if that was like a wink to like Charlton, like the mini.
That's what I was thinking.
The whole time I was like, it's a joke, right? So he's like, go home. Get the fuck out of here. Do not take this job. Like, if you do this, you're crazy. It's a macabre place. And he's like, that the townsfolk, the entire town thinks that Robin murdered his own brother. And plus they're just savages. Like, he just refers to them just essentially as like savages. Heathens.
Yeah. Heathens. Yeah.
And, she's a progressive person. She's like, I'm inclined to believe that your somewhat antiquated racial attitudes may have colored your judgment. But if you'll excuse me, I've endured quite enough bigotry for one day. So that's cool that she stands up to him and says, fuck you, fucker. Mm-hmm. And and then we get a weird, this kind of reminded me of Gothic Romance's Atlas Seaboard. Here where she's that night where she has a vision of Mr. Singh, and he appears in her room. He romances her. It reminded me of that story that was like kind of rapey and weird. Where it's
exactly.
Like, is this happening? Is she in her right mind? Is this dude actually doing this stuff? And I mean, this actually gets pretty kind of suggestive, where she's kind of like passionately like cleavage, and she's like in her negligee, and she's like rolling back passionately. Like, kind of says like we fucked all night long is the insinuation in the text.
Yeah.
And then she wakes up in the morning, and there's some sexy stuff from DeZuniga. Like, I can see through her, like the morning sun's coming in, and you see her body through her sheer negligee. It's pretty sexy stuff.
It is sexy stuff, yeah. But it was just a dream. We need to, which is, it's a kind of a funny thing. But she decides that she's going to accept the offer, and so she goes, and we meet Saba, what are we going to say? Are we going to say
Saba?
Saba
and Mahe? I'm guessing. I don't know.
Saba and Mahe is kind of, So we're reintroduced to the little kids. They're so excited. They're like, we'll be able to play and read books and do things together. So she's going to be a governess. But again, the whole thing, like, oh, I wish you saw me. Oh no, you foolish girl, you're just here to teach. And then, so it just
the absent employer, right? Too that trope.
Yeah, absent employer.
Sorry,
too.
He can't be here. It's like Dracula.
Ooh, yeah. He's got stuff to do, and then kids have nightmares. But then
that's when we learn about the curse, right? The titular curse.
Yep. That's how we learn about the curse. So they're saying like, oh, snakes, no. And then she meets him in the halls and says, oh, I had a bad dream about snakes. And he was just like, oh, my brother Sanisan was killed by the bite of a cobra. And then I love his look in that panel. He's just like, destiny has decreed that members of my family will die from the venom of the cobra. It's an ancient curse. It's haunted the name. I love it. Fucking love it. It's just a more cosmopolitan setting than the Gothic Moors, but it's the exact same thing.
Shit. The curse, the tragedy, the tragic curse that strikes a family. We're painting by numbers here, and it's never looks better.
No, it hasn't. She sits down and we meet the mother.
Oh God.
Who is awesome? She's just holding a cobra in a basket the whole time. We know her basically in this.
Yep.
And she's just like, and she's like, whips it out. It's just like, this is my son. The body of my son is dead. His soul lives on. And she's like, oh my God.
Any panel she's in looks absolutely fucking amazing.
It looks really great. But yeah, so then they go to the beach and they almost get hit by a giant boulder that they see someone pushed and is running away. So that's again.
Yeah. Another classic, like trying to snuff them out, failed attempt. Don't know why. And then they find out that guy looks a lot like her employer's manservant. And so she's getting more paranoid now. She was also hit in the leg by when she was pushing the kids out of the way of the boulder. It hit her, so she has severe sprain on her ankle. So Dr. Graves, the racist, comes to visit her. And he's just basically saying, stay in bed, blah, blah, you're fine. You'll be fine in like a few days. But you just need to leave. Get out of this fucking house. But yeah, he said, other than that, I stay bed rest. You'll be good. And we move on.
Like everything's going to be fine.
Yeah. Because all I can prescribe for you is going back to the States, or at least getting out of this house.
Go be around white people. That's my prescription for you.
And then, I do love that there's that aspect of this where all of these things are so like unreliable narrator, right? Because like turn the screw. I mean, I don't know how much you read that book. I've read it like 6 times. I'm obsessed with it because that is the ultimate, like, is this a girl who's hysterical or something happening? Like, it's so layered and nuanced and weird and you never really know, but it seems to mostly just be a girl who's all head up and horny and creates a whole fucking psychotic situation in her mind, right? And so some of that is implied here. Like, is he just saying, get out of this house, his family's sick? And she's hearing it as, Indians are heathens and savages. Whoa, I mean, how much of it is filtering? How much of it is her just coloring it with what she needs to hear at that time? So she recovers, and her employer kisses her, and he's like, "Hey, I love you. You're the bee's knees."
Direct quote.
Yeah, and he says that he sent the guy to the beach to check up. She overhears him talking to the employer, the manservant, saying, "I followed them to the beach, and as you instructed, master. I'm sure they did not see me." Blah, 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 blah. And they got an earshot, and she doesn't know what's going on. So again, that paranoia starts playing. He's like, "Is that the guy who pushed the boulder at us?" And and then she goes up and she's like, "Oh well, this dude, my boss loves me, so I'm going to go up there and snuggle with him a little bit." And he just lashes out and just gets very aggressive sexually with her. And he's like, "Oh, you like Indian men, do you?" He just starts throwing her down, holding her down and kissing her. And she panics and slaps him in the face and runs off. And he's laughing as she does so. And she's collecting herself saying, "What the hell is going on? Am I crazy?" Yeah. And this
but it's the twin.
It's the twin.
I love it. As she's running away, he's like, "Ha ha ha! Why do you run, my pretty? My loving ought to be as good as Reben's. After all, we are twins." He's got his arms, crossed. Like, ha, 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 ha. But she doesn't know, of course. But then, I just like that how dismissive he is of his old lady mother.
Yeah.
It made me laugh a lot. To where he sees her and he's like, "Hello, mother dear. Hello, Anila. Is mother still fondling her little pet snake?" And we realize that his name is Jawa. Jawa.
Yeah. So they were actually triplets, right?
Yeah, there were triplets.
Yeah. Because they referred to them as like, "Oh, my twin, my twin." It's like, no, you're not twins unless there was just 2 of you. You were triplets.
Yeah.
Just one of them's dead. So what goes on? Then they decide to go to a desert fair. And
I love the art on that page.
So good. That page I hung on for a long time.
Yeah, there's a lot to look at. It's so cool.
So rich. But there's basically someone whips some camels and causes like a camel stampede. Some people die, I believe. It's just absolute mayhem. And what's her name? Michelle Harlan Ellison takes the kids and decides she's going to try and drive back through the desert, even though the winds are constantly shifting and covering up roads. So like you just have to kind of just know where you're going and just hope that you stick to the road. And
well, there's no road. It just looks like she's driving like a Rolls Royce over sand
through the desert.
Through the desert, the open desert.
Yeah, and we see that servant going, those fools, they'll never make it across the desert alive. And sure enough, she drives around, gets kind of lost for a while, but meanwhile, Jawa confronts Robin and with his gun, and we're getting the final act here. This is the part where I kind of forgot what goes on.
Yeah. Yeah, well, so, the whole thing, like, he Jawa's, doing his villain monologue, and to where we realize that he was the one that murdered their brother, Sinison, of course. Who's saying, like, our family always had that stupid peasant superstition about snakes. I merely helped destiny along by providing the snake. And so, yeah, the whole thing. And so, yeah, but Jawa takes, one of those lit like braziers and tries to set the place on fire, which is also like a third act thing. Yeah. It's, the building's set on fire. Oh no. And so, yeah, but then, but the mother has heard all this the whole time. And so she sicks the snake on Jawa. So he's killed by a snake. And then, yeah, they are running out, but so they run out, and then, so we're at chapter 4, the desert. I love so the opening of that chapter, I fucking love, because it's their mom being insane, holding the cobra above her head, being like, "We perish together.
God,
my Sinison, for your death has been avenged. Curse of the serpent." And so, yeah, she's just wanting all of them to die for some reason. She's gone completely cuckoo.
Yeah, well, we could end the curse if we all just burn together.
Yeah, that does end the curse, technically.
Yeah. What about the niece and nephew, the two children, though?
Oh, yeah. No, they're cursed too.
The curse.
Cobra's all around.
Cobra's all around. we perish together, for your death has been avenged. Oh, the vengeance for Sinison was what would break the curse. The fire is just incidental.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Okay. We cut to Michelle, who is who they're totally screwed. But then she finds Bakar had followed them out there, and she's like, "Oh no, he's going to kill us!" But actually, he's here to save them. And
I love the explanation of how he found them. Because they're in a Rolls Royce and he's on a camel, and he's like, "You've been driving in circles, otherwise I never could have come."
Yeah. I like that they probably didn't travel far at all. She's just driving in circles, and he's probably just slowly going over there in his camel. He's like, "No hurry, they're right there."
Like a screensaver in the desert. Oh my God.
But she ends up back home in bed, and Robin's above her and is saying, "Oh yeah, we found you." But then I love the page after that. The art gets really like the very romantic stuff. It gets so
that
cool.
First panel on page 33.
That first panel.
God.
It's so cool. It's beautiful. So I love this whole thing. But of course, she's mad because she thinks, "Oh, but you treated me so badly." And so, yeah.
That's when he played that card. Anytime I was rapey, it was my twin.
Yeah. That's my twin every time with that guy. Yeah.
Oh, so as we always have to have, we need a happy ending. So he asks, "Hey, are you down to marry me? Do you still love me? Because I still love you." And she's like, "A lot has happened over the last few days, and I think I should go home and kind of get grounded, touch grass, and think through this, and I'll make a decision." And he's like, "I understand. That's totally reasonable."
Yeah.
And she goes, goodbye. Goodbye. And then she goes to the airport and she says, what am I doing? I don't need to do this. I love this guy. I love India. I love being constantly attempted, murder happening to me at all times. So get a beautiful Indian wedding. Traditional.
Yep. Oh, it's great. Yeah, the art is really, really great in this. And the story completely wrote. But I really enjoyed it. Just DeZuniga couple. They tell a good story. It's a good story. As
it is.
Typical as it is. There's funny notes though. You know, the racist doctor, them driving around in circles in the sand, you know, the market, the camel stampede, like it's
the mom.
Yep, the mom. There's a lot of cool touches in this, and the art is amazing. We've made we don't hide the fact that we love Tony DeZuniga and his art.
Yeah,
he's incredible.
Yeah, it was a blast, and it was just fun. I know it's kind of just a novelty to have these rote kind of stories with all the same beats that you're used to, just having an Indian flavor. But that's fun. That's like hearing.
It was fun. It was really
like
fun.
Hearing the Marvel fanfare, but with a Tiki's theme, you know?
That's right.
It's a new way to hear it. So, I had a blast with this one. And, now that I know there's a Toth, I think I knew that, but I forgot. So I can't wait to go read the Toth one.
Yeah, the Toth one's good. It's issue 3. It's, Frank Robbins and Toth. So it's,
I'm reading it tonight.
Definitely worth checking out. But,
I've discovered a lot about myself, Jacob, and one of them is that I love Gothic Romance way more than I ever thought I would. So I'm okay with that. Yeah.
So did you get a chance to read that? Did you read that essay I sent you? I know you were going to.
I started it. I'm going to.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I haven't finished it, though.
Yeah, but, it's cool.
I love that writer.
I'm curious to see your thoughts on it.
Yeah. I read a big excerpt of it, like 10 pages of it. So like, I just couldn't finish it.
It's not much more than, it's not huge. It's maybe 20 pages, I think.
Yeah.
So, but cool. So, you were saying next up on our next Shadow show, it's Free Jazz.
Yeah, it is. Do you have any ideas what you want to share? I think I know what I'm going to talk about. Maybe a nice thing.
You're going to do your nice things. I'll probably talk about summer reading because it's going to be starting.
Yeah.
So I'll probably, talk about the beginning of that and, how all that's going to work out for the summer.
Good. People like to hear the library stuff.
Yeah. I'm excited. I think people like this year's summer reading. Theme is level up at your library. So it's all very like D&D, Pokemon, card games, themed. So it's going to be cool. So I'll talk all about that the next episode.
I love the shirts.
The shirts are so good.
Yeah, they're great. Cool. I think we did it.
Yeah, we did it.
I can't recommend this enough. Like, is the sister title equally as same talent, caliber of talent?
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's just 70s DC horror, so No,
I'm sorry, not what it became. The when there was the 2 that were Gothic horror for 4 issues, is the other one that was Gothic horror at the same time, Gothic Romance. Sorry. At the same time, is
same
it equally,
caliber?
Yeah,
that I don't know. I haven't read any of those, so I was only familiar with this one.
Okay, because I would guess those would be basically the same pool of creators. Like,
I would think so, right? Because they had painted covers too, a couple of them.
Yeah,
so
I'd be surprised if it was a markedly different level of quality.
Yeah, me too.
It's like they were just kind of like trying to grab the entire market that was hot. That mini, what'd you call it? Mini boom.
It's a mini boom.
Mini boom, and just like, well, we're doing this before Stan gets there, and then just didn't pan out. So
yeah.
And those titles, man, the first iterations of those titles, I feel like Yo! A Tango albums or something like that. You know?
I know.
Sinister House of Secret Love should be a fucking album name. It's just, it's
It
dumb
should
that it's
be.
not. It's a great
No.
goddamn name.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, yeah, we'll see you next episode for a little free jazz about our lives. Matt's nice thing. I talk about the library. But until then, hail Satan.
Hail Satan. What is that?
I think it's the bonus show. Shadow show.
Shadow Show.
Shadow show.
Ooh.